Today we fill out some of our existing D&D scenes with some do-it-yourself rugs and carpets. So I was at Michael's the other day and I found this. This is a pack of embroidery thread. It was $5 for the pack, and I was looking at it and the thread looked really nice. It has this kind of like almost rope-like texture to it. So I picked up the pack and it has so many pieces in it. Just look at all of these little bundles. Each one of these is 10 yards long, and they are going to be really great for this project. So we're going to pick out a couple of colors. I'm thinking some blues, reds, maybe a gold, and kind of a brown to go along with everything. So let's go ahead and jump right in and make some rugs. So I'm going to be gluing everything down to these playing cards because they're going to be a nice little rigid back. And then I've got this little oval-shaped craft stick, and I'm just going to use it as a template to trace out a couple of pieces on the back of one of the cards here, just to give me a slightly smaller rug. So we're going to do one large one and then one small one. So I'll get these trimmed out off camera, and also off camera I took some of the thread and braided it into just a simple 3-strand braid. So applying a little bit of tacky glue into the center, we're going to take our braid and clipping off the knot that I tied at the end, I'm just going to lay it down in the center, and then using a toothpick to kind of hold it in place and press it down into the glue. I'm just doing a simple little wrap formation, just kind of slowly working it around. Eventually I kind of abandoned the toothpick to kind of make sure everything cinched up nicely and kind of hugged everything together. And I'm just going to do a few little wraps here to kind of create a dark center for the rug, and then trim it off. And then before all this dries, I'm going to add a little bit of glue around the outside. This will kind of help hold everything in, and then we can kind of line up our next color. In this case I'm using blue, to the end where I snipped it off from the previous strand, and then again just kind of keep wrapping it around over and over again until you have the desired size. So there's no real rhyme or reason to how many times I'm doing the wrap on this. I think I do like 3, maybe 4 wraps before switching back to another color. And also, I'm sorry for kind of doing this a little off-center and off-camera. It's just kind of how everything ended up being filmed. Alright, and I'm just going to trim this up and add in the last little bit, the last wraparound off-camera, and then I'll trim up the cardstock just to kind of make everything neat, and we can move on and make some carpet. So I'm going to use a larger card for this and just kind of mark out a rough square in the center. I'm aiming for something just a little bit smaller than 1 inch by 1.5 inches. Just kind of an arbitrary little size to put in the center. And this is going to kind of mark out where the various colors are going to be. So we're going to go red in the center, then gold, and then red, and then do a final wrap around gold. So once again, we're going to start in the center and just kind of press everything down. I want this one to be a little bit more square, so I'm trying to keep the angles a little bit more crisp, but it's a lot harder than you'd expect. My recommendation for doing this is kind of glue down the corners, hold it in place, maybe even let the glue dry a bit more before continuing the wrap and continuing the weave on the carpet, just to kind of make sure everything keeps the angles and the crispness that you might be going for. Although if you're going for round or oval rugs, you don't really have to worry about this. Now, one thing I did find helpful in that regard, though, was once everything was tacked down, before I moved on to the next color, I took a moment and just kind of with my fingers and the toothpick kind of smushed everything together and shaped it a little bit to kind of recreate the rectangular shape that I was aiming for. And it worked out pretty well, but I ended up getting a ton of glue on my fingers, which actually made the whole project a lot more messy. It definitely wasn't quite as cleanly done as I'd wanted it, but it's kind of a live and learn situation. Alright, so off camera I kind of continued things. I went with a little bit of stylization with the gold there to kind of add some extra flair to everything. And here I just kind of want to show you the process I used for filling in these outer sections with red. Now in this case, instead of starting in the middle and working my way out, I'm starting out and working my way in. It's a little bit easier to do it this way, in all honesty. Starting on the outside kind of gives me a little bit more freedom to push everything together and achieve the shape and spiral that I wanted. And again, using my fingers to kind of press everything together to make sure it fits the shape that I was hoping for. And then to finish this one off, I'm just going to do 2 quick wraps around the outside with some more of the gold thread here. I keep saying gold, but on camera it looks a little bit more yellow than gold. It's kind of the lighting in my workspace that does that, but off camera and on the table it looks a little bit more gold than yellow. Alright, and as we finish up this wrap, I'm just going to trim the thread, and then once it's dry, I'm going to trim the cardstock, and we are all set and finished. Alright, so that is it for this episode. These are really quick to put together. I was able to put these 2 together in just a little bit under an hour. I'm definitely going to make some more. They really help to kind of set and dress out a scene. I can see myself making a few that are skinny and long for some hallway runners, things like that. So thank you everyone for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments section, and we will see everyone next episode.